Mary Jo Fernandez's awkward question to Carlos Alcaraz with a jab at the Spaniards: "Does it bother you to get up early to play at 11:30?" Alcaraz managed to overcome discomfort in his right knee to defeat Darderi in 3 sets, but the most uncomfortable moment came during the on-court interview conducted by former tennis player Mary Jo Fernandez. The American asked Carlos about what it's like to open the US Open's main court. The famous Arthur Ashe: "You are Spanish, does it bother you to wake up early to play at this time?" Carlos Alcaraz defeated Italian Luciano Darderi in 3 sets, 2-6, 4-6, 0-6, overcoming discomfort in his right knee. However, the public's attention shifted after the match, when the Mercian had to face an awkward question in the on-court interview with Mary Jo Fernandez, former tennis player and double Olympic medalist. "Did it bother you to get up early to play first thing?" The American, in a tone that sounded like an indirect remark aimed at Spanish players, asked, "Carlos, you're Spanish, did it bother you to wake up early to play at 11:30? For context, 11:30 a.m. in New York is 5:30 p.m. in Spain. Alcaraz, with an uncomfortable gesture, replied gracefully, "I'm not a very early riser, for me it's difficult, but it was good for me to wake up early. It helped me warm up calmly and play well." Finally, he closed with a proud wink, "It seems I'm a Spanish guy." It is worth remembering that the comment didn't come out of nowhere. Just a few weeks earlier, at the 2025 ATP 1000 in Toronto, his compatriot Alejandro Davidovich had publicly expressed his displeasure at having to play matches scheduled too early. Those complaints had sparked some debate in the circuit and, in this case, seemed to be behind the jab thrown at Alcaraz. Alcaraz gives medical update: "A twinge in the knee, it will need care." Carlos Alcaraz urged calm after feeling discomfort in his right knee. In the 7th game of the 2nd set, he lost his serve. After a serve, he felt a small twinge in the knee, but after 4 or 5 points it went away. "I called the physio to see what was happening, to be able to face what was left of the match. It went away and I was able to finish normally. I'm not worried." Although he will, of course, keep a close eye on it. Awaiting confirmation or dismissal of any underlying problem, he explained, "It's the kind of thing that can happen in a Grand Slam. These are intense, long matches, and little problems come up from where you don't expect them." He added, "It has to be taken care of, and let's see how it goes," said the Spaniard just after finishing the match, hoping his positive feelings are accurate. After receiving treatment from the physiotherapist, he put together a 7-0 streak to close out the victory 6-2, 6-4, 6-0 over Italian Luciano Darderi, 23 years old and ranked number 34. The tennis player, who hadn't touched a racket on Thursday, his rest day, when he played golf instead, now has hours ahead to recover. He won't compete again until Sunday, against Frenchman Arthur Rinderknecht. Djokovic vs Carlos Alcaraz, another chapter in sight. The Serbian tennis player secured his place in the round of 16 after defeating Cameron Norrie in a tough 4-set battle. Serbian Novak Djokovic, 4-time US Open champion, qualified this Friday for the round of 16 of the New York tournament after defeating Britain's Cameron Norrie 6-4, 6-7-4, 6-2, 6-3. At 38 years old, he has become the oldest player to reach the round of 16 in New York since Jimmy Connors in 1991. The Serbian extended to 7-0 his perfect record against Norrie, world number 35, who still hasn't beaten a top 10 player in a Grand Slam. Djokovic, ranked number 7 and sharing the same half of the draw with Spaniard Carlos Alcaraz, wrapped up his 3rd round match in 2 hours and 48 minutes. The Balkan star now keeps a close eye on the Mercian, boasting a 93-14 record in New York. In the round of 16, he will face 35-year-old German Jan-Lennard Struff, who surprised everyone by eliminating Francis Tiafoe, 6-4, 6-3, 7-6-7. After the match, he commented on his feelings on court: "I ask myself more questions now than I used to. How much I want to keep going at this pace, how I want to manage my schedule to extend my career, because I really want to keep playing." Asked about the famous topic of retirement, he reiterated his stance: "I still feel that I'm enjoying competing and I still feel that I have the level to be at the top. As long as I have that feeling, as long as that level is alive, is present, I want to keep going. I want to keep pushing myself to see if I can win another slam or another big tournament." To achieve that, Noel acknowledged that he dedicates many hours daily to taking care of his body. If anyone has been very open and curious about trying new things or taking advantage of any advance in sports science, sports medicine, whatever is said to be good, whether it's machines, different treatments or methods, that's me. I'm the first to try it, because really, not only do I want to extend my career and perform well at this stage for as long as possible, but I also love wellness and longevity. Honestly, I don't think there's much more I could do. His next obstacle on the road to further history in the US is the world number 144, who already knocked out one of the tournament favorites. And with the rhythm Djokovic is showing and the winning path Alcaraz is also on, a new duel between the two is already looming in the semifinals of the season's last Grand Slam. Jannik Sinner continues with his relentless hammering, crushing every opponent that crosses his path at the Arthur Ashe. The Italian had a demanding second round at the US Open against Alexei Popyrin, but he got through it without major trouble, 6-3, 6-2, 6-2. Today, that fever that knocked him out in Cincinnati is behind him, and the world number one is back to his most demolishing tennis, the kind he shows in Grand Slams and which only Carlos Alcaraz has been able to neutralize. Speaking after his victory, the Italian had words about his great rival on the circuit, praising both the Spaniard's game and his personality, even if they are very different. He also shared thoughts on his next rival, Denis Shapovalov, and on the different conditions between Arthur Ashe and Louis Armstrong, as well as the pressure of defending the title. Satisfied with his victory over Alexei Popyrin, it was a very, very solid performance. I think neither of us served very well today, so there were many rallies from the baseline, where I felt quite comfortable today, and obviously, I'm very happy to move on to the next round. Not underestimating Denis Shapovalov. It was a very tough, very difficult match. It was a few years ago and he has improved, and I have too. We're in a different position than 2 or 3 years ago, but it's going to be very, very tough, very difficult. He's a very talented player with enormous potential. So we'll see what happens, but I expect a very tough match and I'll have to be very careful. He's unpredictable. He has a great serve. Physically, he's strong. He's very fast and he has no real weaknesses in his game. He knows how to do everything, and that will make it very difficult. But I'm really looking forward to playing him. It's been a long time since I've faced him, so we'll see. It's going to be a new challenge, so I'm really looking forward to it. I hope it's a good match, that's what we all want. Conditions change every day. I think it's always very difficult to compare this tournament with last year's, because you don't remember exactly how you felt playing. But yes, I played 2 matches in 2 days and the conditions were totally different, because the first one we started under the sun. The conditions were a bit faster. Today it felt more like an evening match because it was very cloudy and a bit cold, a bit fresh. But that's precisely what makes this sport so interesting. The good thing about playing on the main court is that there isn't much wind. Outside there's a lot of wind and it changes a lot. Inside, more or less, it always blows in one direction. There's a big difference between the main court and Armstrong, because Armstrong has an open part in the center, so the wind comes in and changes. Delighted to have Carlos Alcaraz in the tennis world. He's a very complete player, without a doubt. We've seen it many times, winning Roland Garros, Wimbledon and here. That shows he can play on any surface. I watched his last match and he's playing very, very well, hardly missing any shots at the moment. So he's confident. That makes it very difficult to play against him, because tactically you prepare matches differently depending on where you play. He's the big favorite in every tournament he plays because he has so many solutions and playing styles that he can use to solve problems. But yes, there are many, many things that make him so difficult to play against, but it's great for the sport. It's good to have someone like Carlos, entertaining and fantastic to watch, and that's what people like. It's great to have him. Already knows what it's like to defend a Grand Slam title in Australia. As I always say, I'm not defending the title, I'm always chasing a new one, because in every tournament you start from 0 in the first round, and if you don't play well, you're out of the tournament. I'm going for trophies or good results, and that's what I try to do. Obviously, I know how much is at stake here, in this tournament, and also at the end of the year, but on the other hand, I try to play as best as I can. Then we'll see the result. The rest I can't control. Australia helped me a bit to understand that, yes, but on the other hand, the situation is different, the conditions are different and the mental part is also different, because you grow from the beginning of the year and now you're almost at the end. Yes, everything is a bit different, but I'm looking forward to it, because these are big challenges, concluded a Jannik Sinner who continues to operate on autopilot in his demolishing version.
You are from Spain. Are you a morning person at all? Playing your first day match at 11:30?
I'm not an early person, so for me it's difficult to wake up in the morning. So I just that's one of the good things about today, that I just woke up early. I did pretty well, the warm up. I just played good, so it was. I think it seems like I'm a Spanish guy.